Hey guys, Zach here, aka Raptor Z. I just heard that there's a new source book coming out for Dungeons and Dragons 5e, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So let's go to the official Dungeons and Dragons website. I don't need Facebook there, and see what they have to say from the source. Let's see, let's go full screen. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. D&D rules explained by Wizards RPG team. Product overview. What wonderful witchery is this? A magical mixture of rules options for the world's greatest role-playing game. The wizard Tasha, whose great works include the spell Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I am a big fan of that spell myself. It's a great way to upset your DM. Has gathered bits and bobs of precious lore during her illustrious career as an adventurer. Her enemies wouldn't want these treasure secrets scattered across the multiverse, so, in defiance, she has collected and codified these tidbits for the enrichment of all. Expanded subclasses. Try out subclass options for every Dungeons & Dragons class, including the Artificer, which appears in the book. More character options. Delve into a collection of new class features and new feats and customize your character's origin using straightforward rules for modifying a character's racial traits. Introducing group patrons. Whether you're part of the same criminal syndicate or working for an ancient dragon, each group patron option comes with its own perks and types of assignments. Spells, artifacts, and magic tattoos. Discover more spells, as well as magic tattoos, artifacts, and other magic items for your campaign. Expanded rules options. Try out rules for sidekicks, supernatural environments, natural hazards, and parlaying with monsters, and gain guidance on running a Session 0. A plethora of puzzles. Ready to be dropped into any D&D adventure, puzzles of varied difficulty await your adventures, complete with traps and guidance on using the puzzles in a campaign. Full of expanded content for players and dungeon masters alike, this book is a great addition to the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide. Baked in, you'll find more rule options for all the character classes in the Player's Handbook, including more subclass options. Thrown in for good measure is the Artificer subclass, a master of magical invention. And this witch's brew wouldn't be complete without a dash of added artifacts, spellbook options, spells for both player, characters, and monsters, magical tattoos, group patrons, and other tasty goodies. So there's the main cover, and then there's the alt cover. An alternative art cover with a distinctive design and soft touch finish is available exclusively in game stores on November 17th. Okay. November 17th, alright. So we got Rime of the Frost Maiden coming out in September, mid-September. Then we got October, and then in November, mid-November, Tasha's Cauldron comes out. And there's this alternate cover if you buy it in the store, which... I'm personally a fan of the alternate in-store covers. I think it's pretty flex to have those. And then, you know, you're obviously supporting your local game store, so you get nerd bragging rights. So in-store cover, where it's at. Props anyone with those. Announcement videos. Look for more information regarding Tasha's Cauldron in the following community videos. Okay, well, I guess you guys have probably seen those videos already, or most of them. Item details, price $50. Okay. $50 book coming out. Which is, by the way, the same price as the Frost Maiden book coming out. So, look at, and it shall join the ranks of our beloved source books here. So let's look back over this. So expanded subclasses, try out subclass options, like the Artificer. Now the Artificer sounds familiar. Isn't there an Artificer in Eberron? Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is, where they can basically make magic items, like common magic items. Like magic is very widely used in Eberron, so they're bringing the Artificer to Forgotten Realms, I guess. So magic will be more commonplace, supposedly. more character options. Now, this is what I've been seeing some controversy over. New class features and new feats. The new feats I'm pretty excited about. I'm a huge fan of feats. I usually do variant human just to get that extra feat right out of the gate. Feats make it so fun, especially if you don't run your characters like super high level. Having that additional feat from the beginning really helps, like, kind of give like a special dynamic to the way you play your character. And I think they've identified that fact, and they're doubling down on that. So they're introducing new feats and maybe the ability to have feats sooner in the game, even in initial creation, which I'm open to hear more about. Customize your character's, I guess I could do this. Customize your character's origin. So I don't know how far I should get into that this time. Like, I keep seeing things about orcs and drow, like, not necessarily having to be evil anymore. I'm currently going through, I'll admit it, my first Drist book by Salvatore. Is it R.E. Salvatore? Something like that. Salvatore. And the main character is a drow Drist of House Doden. And he's a drow, and he's actually, he turns out to be a good guy. Not only that, but his mentor, Zach Nafane, yeah, Zach's represent, is also a good guy, and he actually passes on that goodness to his son, Drist. So, just because the race is fundamentally an evil race doesn't necessarily mean the individuals have to be bad. And that's already kind of baked into the lore of D&D. I don't know why they necessarily have to, like, just declare that it's just not an evil race anymore. I think that's part of the fun about Dungeons and Dragons is light versus dark, and there are some races that they're innately going to be at odds with whoever wants to do good things in the world. And by the way, we keep saying this word race, and I think that's where a lot of this confusion comes in. We're using the word race, but race, I'm pretty sure, only applies to different types of human beings from different evolutionary tracks across the planet. Human beings, Homo sapiens. But orcs are aliens to the planet of Toril, which is what Dungeons and Dragons the setting is. So orcs are essentially aliens. They're an alien species. You don't even say alien race. They're an alien species. And then the drow, they chose to turn away from. They chose to part paths, part ways with the other Fae, with the other elves, who were on the light side in the Feywild, and they went against their creator. Starts with C. The name's kind of escaping me. Coraland, I think. Let's see here. Elf god. Yeah, Coralon. Like, the drow purposely left Coralon, and they were taken up by Lolth, the spider goddess. So that sounds pretty freaking gnarly and bad to me, and I think that's pretty metal and pretty cool. I don't know why they have to, like, reverse course on that. I don't know if people aren't aware, but I might be the first one to tell you, there are actually other races of human beings in Dungeons and Dragons. It's not just white characters. There's black characters, there's Asian characters. I've yet to run into a Hispanic character, but I'm pretty sure there's Hispanic characters. I know there's a place called is it Azteca? I know there's a continent called Azteca, so I imagine that's where you're going to find the Hispanic characters. Let's look. Azteca. Wait, nope. What am I thinking of? It's like a mix between two D&D Aztec. I know it's like a race between two. It's like a mix between two, like, kind of like Hispanic sounding words. Mess. Nope. Mastica? That's what it was. Mastica. So that's obviously where you're gonna find the Hispanic human beings, and then they even threw in the conquistador types as well. So be it. But yeah, so there are different races of human beings on Toril. So to say that other species of creatures represent any one race of human being is, I think that's erroneous. I don't think that's quite legitimate. I mean, I can understand the base concern, but if someone, as for me as a Latino, if someone were to say that another species represents Latinos and that species is like revolting, then I would find that offensive. I'd say, hell no. The Hispanic race of humans on Toril represent humans, or represent Hispanics. That thing is a freaking monster. So that's my opinion. And again, I should state it now. I'm a supporter of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a supporter of Wizards of the Coast. I got into D&D with 5e, with Wizards at the helm. So, as they make these decisions, I'm trying to understand them. I'm trying to go along with them, follow along with them, and understand it. And so that I'm more abreast of what D&D becomes over the years. It's gonna grow and change. It's grown and changed over all these years. It's gonna grow and change even more. It's not gonna stay the same. Not gonna stay static. That's part of the fun of the game. Is it's constantly evolving and changing, and it's fun to get the new books and to talk about the new rules and the new this and the new that. And somebody whoops out a new spell, and you're like, I've never come across that spell before. I gotta look it up. Or do you have that source book or whatever? So I'm neutral. I got my ears open. I'm just saying. Orcs and drow are not minority human races. We have minority human races in D&D, and they're human. But okay, going forward. Introducing group patrons. Whether you're part of the same criminal syndicate or working for an ancient dragon, each group patron option comes with its own perks and types of assignments. I like that. That is cool. So essentially, you could be in a cult or something if you wanted to, and worship there'd be like a cult patron. But that's like religious, because there's already like clerics and stuff, like religious elements in the game. But even beyond that, there could be like a group patron. So, like for example, in my current campaign, there's this guy named Garth who I haven't let onto my characters yet, but he's part of the Thieves Guild, and so essentially, I guess you could be you could be under Garth's employ. You could be an agent of Garth, and he would be your group patron. So, and then you might get perks like you can like bribe people in the city of Baldur's Gate or something like that. That sounds cool. I like that. New spells, always welcome addition. Sometimes it's a little bit of a pain when people whoop out new spells or like new sub races, but so be it. That's how it is. Spells, artifacts, and magic tattoos. Discover more spells as written, as well as magic tattoos, artifacts, and other magic items for your campaign. Magic tattoos. Is there precedence for that in Dungeons and Dragons? Has that been a thing, guys, that I don't know about? I mean, in the current campaign I'm running, I definitely had runes that were carved into some characters, and those runes would actually set them up to become portals for devils. But I imagine it's kind of in that vein where there's a mark on your body, a magical mark that gives you magical ability. So you can collect tattoos like perma magic abilities instead of having to cast spells with components and whatnot. And do the magic tattoos take spell slots? I will be curious to learn more about this magic tattoo thing. And I don't know how much of this is going to be like just optional, or how much of it as a dungeon, because I'm a DM for Adventurers League. I don't know how much of it is purely optional and how much of it is I have to honor as a DM. running AL campaign. So like if someone shows up and says that they have such and such tattoo, I have to say, okay, fine, you can use that magical ability, or I can say we're not doing tattoos. Well, I guess we'll find out. Expanded rules options. Try out rules for sidekicks. I've never learned the rules for sidekicks, but in my current campaign, I'm setting it up so that each character has basically a mount that is a sidekick. I know that's not what sidekick is. It's like basically an NPC for your character, but these people's sidekicks, animals, mounts are basically sidekicks because they act autonomously at times. But I love it. It adds another dimension, so I'm willing to learn more about that. It's just hella fun. It's hella fun to have some control over another character in a game besides just your own. You just have to be careful that it's not, taking too much time and energy away from other players, being unfair. Supernatural environments. Okay, just like, well, and natural hazards. That makes me think of the board game version of D&D. Like I have what's it called? Ashardalon, the Wrath of Ashardalon, big dragon, the red box. It's basically a board game version of D&D with like no role play, and you just roll the dice and do what the cards tell you to do. You don't even get to control the monsters. Like the cards tell you how to move the monsters on their turn. But anyway, in that game, there's natural hazards. Like you roll the dice, if a certain number comes up, something bad happens, or like if you have to flip these cards regularly, and they're hazard cards, and one of them is like the walls become lava, which by the way is a pain in the ass. The walls become lava, so every time you're next to a wall on your turn, you take damage. Like it makes it interesting. So and technically that's something that DMs could have been working into their games this whole time, but I guess this kind of like brings it to the forefront and encourages it to be more of a thing, which is fine with me, which is fun. Yeah, cool. Just as long as it doesn't seem like totally randomized, because that when something totally randomized happens to you as a player, that really creates a feeling of unfairness. So hopefully, I don't think it'll get there, but. And parlaying with monsters, making peace with the enemy when the enemy is an orc, or when the enemy is a kobold. Anyway, anyone who's played D&D for a while knows your players, there's like a 50-50 chance they're going to try that crap anyway. And I say crap because I want to say S word, but they're going to try it anyway at some point. They're going to try and make peace with the creatures that you expect them to fight. It's a thing. It's a fun thing. It's hilarious when they pull it off. But parlaying with monsters. Cool, I'm down with that. On the one hand, I know there's this extreme side that's like everyone's equal, everyone's gonna be friends with everybody, peace, 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 everyone's blah blah, sunshine and flowers and whatever, unicorns. That's on one extreme side. And then on the other extreme side, you got like the people who run off and go play like Shadow of the Demon Lord, where they're like, everything is misery and pain and suffering, and everyone kills everyone at the first chance they get, and betrayal and murder, violence, other words I won't say. So you got these two polar opposites. I'm in the middle. I go a little bit back and forth. So parlaying with monsters, making it officially an option to just make peace with creatures instead of fight them. I'm cool. I'm down with that. That's fine. It's an option. Doesn't mean they have to. I wonder if there's going to be modules that come out that the only winning option is to make peace with the monster. That would be interesting to see. But yeah. Hey, the players can make peace with my monsters, and then my monsters can freaking double cross them and tie them up, put them in the stocks, do things the monsters do, kill them. Why not? They're monsters. Let's see. A plethora of puzzles ready to be dropped into any D&D adventure. Puzzles of varied difficulty await your adventurers, complete with traps and guidance on using the puzzles in a campaign. I like that. I do like that. Puzzles are fun. puzzles, you know, can encourage your players to act like a group, act as a, you know, single mind. Team building, it's good. I will say there was one DM, I was in one homebrew campaign where the DM, he made a very elaborate puzzle, and it took us a whole session and a half. So like 6 hours to get through the puzzle. And then when we finally figured out the puzzle, and realized the mechanics that were working in the puzzle the whole time, it was not impressive, and it was actually pretty frustrating and borderline infuriating that we were expected to figure out something that had holes in its logic. So puzzles can be fun, but yeah, they got to be handled just right. They got to be handled well, to be fair, because they're only fun if they're fair. If it's, you know, haha, you were actually supposed to turn over that boulder, that rock in the corner to find the key the whole time. The riddle said it was under your nose, whatever. Leave no stone unturned. And here you are, like, doing, like, all these, like, swishes and stuff on a wall, thinking that's the puzzle. Like, stuff like that would just be infuriating. So we'll see. We'll see what these puzzles are, but I'm really curious to see what it is. So that's what it says on the official D&D site. And this right now is, how long is this video so far? Where's the timer? 21 minutes. Okay, so you guys probably aren't going to watch more beyond that. Let's see what else we could go to real fast. So I did see there's like the press releases for it. Go back and Google that. This Polygon? Let's see. Dungeons and Dragons is getting a... Oh. Nope. Highlight, you son of a... Oh. Dungeons and Dragons is getting a new book of rules, subclasses, and mechanics this fall. Wizards of the Coast announced on Monday. The book, titled Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, follows in the tradition of 2017's Xanathar's Guide to Everything, adding fresh gameplay options to the existing setting rather than a new setting. Sounds good. Also, like Xanathar's Guide, Tasha's Cauldron presents its content with commentary, observations, and snark of a narrative character. This time, instead of a floating crime boss with multiple eye stalks, it's the creator of Tasha's Hideous Laughter who serves as the guide. That's pretty cool. I actually didn't know for a long time that Xanathar was a beholder. Like, I knew the beholder was on the cover of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, but I didn't know that that was actually Xanathar. And then as I learned about what beholders are, it made sense, because beholders are extremely intelligent and they collect things, they hoard things. So it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. They're masterminds. They're masterminds, people. They're smarter than you and me put together. Plus 10. Let's see here. And it's cool to actually see what Tasha's like. It's cool to have a face to the name. Yeah, straight up witch. I like it. I like it a lot. What are these? What are those things? Are those weapons or just like decorations? Anyways, I might do some fan art of Tasha. I'm liking all this. Let's see here. And one of my players is a magic user, so I've really been exploring. I've really been having fun as a DM, exploring magic and learning more about its mechanics and its lore, so that I can be a good DM for that player. So, anyway, enough about me. Tasha's Cauldron won't have any new subclasses, but will instead offer up a collection of new subclasses for every published class in 5th edition. Okay, so we're kind of rehashing what we already learned. Okay, so where's the new stuff? Group patrons, did that. Apparently group patrons is a thing in Ebron, so if you play that, you're already kind of used to it. The most important and intriguing announcement is the new rules and extensive set of rules for character creation. So if you guys have watched the video this long, good for you. So now I'll get to like the last important thing I'll talk about is like I said, I started playing Dungeons and Dragons with, oh, my throat's so dry. Like I said, I started playing Dungeons and Dragons with 5th edition, and it didn't take me long to realize that if you don't pick the right race for the class that you want to play, you're going to be paying for it for the whole life of the character. And it's really frustrating when you're trying to cast spells, and unfortunately you picked a race that didn't give you a boost in the modifier to actually be effective with your spell casting, so essentially your character is less effective in a battle, which that's like the fastest way to feel bad about yourself and to make other players not want to play with you so much, is if you just suck at battle and you go down and people go down trying to save you, and worse, people start dying. So actually I became a little bit obsessed with like power building, what's it called? Min-maxing, not min-maxing, but like just optimizing. Yeah, optimizing characters. So, you know, so you always see like the halfling rogue, the dwarf cleric, you know, is elf ranger one? Elf ranger maybe. You can just constantly see that. So it would be nice if you know, you weren't punished by choosing a different race for the class that you want. Race / species for the class you want. So you would see a bit more variety, which would be cool. You know, and there's people hating on that real hard right now. I think mechanically, I think they're setting it up for some cool stuff. Like, for example, you know, you want to play someone who is really good with a bow, but you know that limits you to the races that have that dexterity modifier in them. So now there's a way where you could choose a different race, and and then they have like this group of abilities you can pick from, and one of those is like increased dexterity. With like maybe like with like a background or something, you get increased dexterity. Whereas previously backgrounds pretty much just affected your skills. Now it can affect like things like your bowmanship, or maybe it's not full dex, maybe it's just bowmanship or something you can pick up. So, you know, that'd be cool. But granted, you know, with Dungeons and Dragons, unless you're playing like Adventurers League, people have been homebrewing this stuff anyway. People have been fixing this in their own games, which is part of the fun and magic of Dungeons and Dragons. Is the rules start you off, but then you modify them to suit your mode of play for you as a DM and your group of players. You know, that's what's cool about it. So I'm sure people have been doing stuff like this already. They're just trying to make it more like visible and official for other people to see and take part in and have discussion in, which is fine. Oh, I got sidetracked. I finished the article, and this video is probably already close to 30 minutes, so I'll leave it there. Let's see. Let's end you with the actual post again. Well, let's look. What else is on the internet? I guess we could maybe watch the videos, the official videos, but if you guys want to watch those videos with me and have a discussion about it, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll just assume you guys are doing that on your own. Anyway, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything coming out, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, November 17th. And also keep your eyes peeled because we got Rime of the Frost Maiden, a new hardcover adventure coming out in September. Yeah. And I will be running that game on my channel, so yeah. And I'll be getting the book the day it comes out at my local game store. Yeah. So come for that. Bye, everybody.